Amor Fati, how to turn setbacks into strength. What if the worst thing that happened to you was not the end of your story, but the beginning of your transformation? Most of us welcome success, comfort, praise, and progress. But when plans collapse, relationships end, opportunities disappear, or life becomes unfair, we ask, why is this happening to me? That question is natural, but it can trap us in frustration and regret. There is another way to respond. It begins with two Latin words, Amor Fati, love of fate. Amor Fati does not mean pretending that pain is pleasant. It does not mean becoming passive, tolerating mistreatment, or refusing to improve your circumstances. It means embracing reality so completely that you stop wishing the past had been different. Instead of merely accepting what happened, you decide to use it. You say, this is part of my path. What can I make from it? Acceptance says, I cannot change this. Amor Fati says, I will make this useful. Imagine two people facing the same rejection. The first spends months replaying the decision, blaming others, and wondering what is wrong with them. The second feels the disappointment too, but studies the experience. They ask for feedback, improve their skills, reconsider their direction, and continue moving. The rejection is the same. The response is different. One person allows the event to define their limits. The other uses it to expand them. Amor Fati is not about controlling events. It is about controlling the meaning you give them. Pain is unavoidable. Resistance often adds a second layer of suffering. A setback hurts when it happens. Then we make it hurt repeatedly by arguing with reality. This should not have happened. I should be further ahead. They should have treated me differently. My life would be better if I had made another choice. These thoughts keep us attached to a version of life that no longer exists. We spend energy trying to rewrite yesterday instead of shaping tomorrow. The past does not change. Only our relationship with it can change. Amor Fati ends the argument. It does not erase grief, anger, or disappointment. It simply refuses to build a permanent home inside them. You are allowed to feel the wound. But you do not have to become the wound. Consider the strongest people you know. Their strength probably did not come from an easy life. It came from being tested. Patience develops through delay. Courage develops in the presence of fear. Discipline develops when motivation disappears. Resilience develops when something breaks and you decide to rebuild. The qualities we admire are rarely formed in comfort. They are formed through resistance. A setback is raw material. It may arrive in a form you never wanted, but you still have a choice about what you create from it. One of the most powerful ways to practice Amor Fati is to change your definition of failure. Failure is painful when you treat it as a final verdict. It becomes useful when you treat it as information. A failed project may reveal weak preparation. A broken relationship may reveal poor boundaries. A financial mistake may expose impulsive habits. A missed opportunity may show that you need more courage or skill. This does not mean every setback is your fault. Sometimes people act unfairly. Sometimes circumstances are cruel. Sometimes there is no clear lesson. But even when you did not cause the situation, you remain responsible for your next move. Ask yourself, what is this experience showing me that comfort never could? The lesson may not be obvious immediately. Amor Fati does not demand instant gratitude. It asks for openness, the willingness to believe that something valuable can still be built from what happened. We often imagine that confidence comes before action. We think strong people feel ready, fearless, and certain. Usually, the opposite is true. Strength is created by doing difficult things while feeling unready. You become confident after surviving what once intimidated you. You become resilient after discovering that disappointment did not destroy you. You become calm after learning that uncertainty can be endured. An easier life would not necessarily make you stronger. It might only make you less prepared. So stop asking, how can I avoid every difficulty? Ask, who must I become to handle this well? That question returns your power. You may not control another person's decision, a diagnosis, a delayed opportunity, or the timing of life. But you can develop patience, adaptability, courage, skill, and perspective. When life feels unfair, the question, why me, naturally appears. But it rarely leads anywhere useful. A stronger question is, what now? What is the next honest step? What can I learn? What is still within my control? What now does not deny pain. It directs pain toward movement. Even a small action matters. Make the phone call. Rewrite the application. Set the boundary. Rest without guilt. Begin again. You do not need to solve your entire life today. You only need to stop abandoning yourself. Amor Fati becomes powerful when it moves from philosophy into daily practice. First, reframe the situation. Reframing does not mean lying to yourself. It means choosing a perspective that is both truthful and useful. Instead of saying, everything is ruined, say, this plan failed, but my life is not over. Instead of saying, I wasted years, say, those years taught me what I no longer want. Instead of saying, I am starting from nothing, say, I am starting with experience. Your words shape your emotional posture. Language can make you feel powerless, or remind you that you still have agency. Do not turn a difficult chapter into a permanent identity. You failed at something, but you are not a failure. You were rejected, but you are not unworthy. An event is something that happened to you. It is not the total definition of who you are. Second, identify the quality the situation demands. Every obstacle contains a training assignment. If you are waiting, practice patience. If you are afraid, practice courage. If you are uncertain, practice adaptability. If you have lost something, practice gratitude for what remains. This gives suffering direction. Instead of seeing yourself only as a victim of circumstances, you become an active participant in your development. You may not have chosen the lesson, but you can choose to learn it. Third, when something goes wrong, ask 4 questions. What happened? What did I feel? What is within my control? How can this strengthen me? These questions slow emotional chaos and separate facts from interpretations. Over time, your answers become evidence. You begin to see how many situations you once believed were unbearable eventually became manageable. You realize, I have felt lost before. I have rebuilt before. That memory creates confidence. There is also an important misunderstanding to avoid. Loving your fate does not mean staying where you are. You can accept a situation while working to change it. You can acknowledge that someone hurt you while choosing distance. You can accept a mistake while making amends. Acceptance is not surrender. It is accurate contact with reality. Amor Fati says, this is where I am. These are the facts. Now I will move forward without wasting energy pretending reality should be something else. Years from now, you will tell a story about this season of your life. You might say, that was when everything fell apart. Or you might say, that was when I discovered what I was capable of. Both stories may contain the same facts. But one ends with defeat, while the other continues into transformation. You are not always the author of what happens. But you are the author of what happens next. Every time you get up, learn, try again, or refuse to become bitter, you are writing strength into the story. Amor Fati asks us not just to love the victories, but to embrace the whole journey. The delays that taught patience. The rejection that redirected you. The mistake that humbled you. The struggle that revealed your endurance. The ending that created space for a beginning. This does not happen all at once. Some wounds take years to understand. Some losses may never feel fair. You do not need to force gratitude before you are ready. Begin with a smaller promise. I will not waste this. I will not let this experience make me smaller. I will carry the lesson, not only the pain. I will use what happened to become wiser, stronger, and more honest. The next time life disrupts your plans, pause before declaring the moment a disaster. You may be standing inside a chapter whose purpose is not yet visible. The setback may be teaching you to change direction, exposing a weakness you can strengthen, or asking you to discover that you can survive more than you believed. You cannot choose every event. But you can choose whether the event becomes a prison or a teacher. So when life says, "This is what happened," do not spend forever answering, "It should not have." Take a breath. Face the facts. Feel what you need to feel. Then ask the question that turns pain into power. What can I make from this? Do that consistently, and setbacks will no longer be proof that life is against you. They will become evidence that life is shaping you. Not despite the difficulty. Through it.